Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Global English 1 students. Here we are again, back watching the video. Well, it was good while it lasted. They tried to have us in Namsul University, but it didn't really work, did it? They tried to make us to have a real class, but there's some problems still with the coronavirus in the world, and I guess some students were a little bit scared coming to Namsul University campus. So yeah, I thought it was a little bit early to start it, and I knew many students and some professors were not wearing a mask, and many students were going out and drinking, and they were maybe creating a situation where the virus can spread, and Namsul University got a little bit nervous, and many students were a little bit nervous. So I guess that's the reason why we do not have class this week. So I'm so sad about that. You guys seem like a very good group of students, a very good group of students. So I'm really sad that we can't have class again. We will do at least one or two more Zoom classes, so don't worry about that. We will do some more classes. Don't worry about that. But we won't have classes again at campus. And I guess that's probably, for now, that's the best thing, right? For now, that is the best thing that we can do because it's still a little bit it's still a little bit dangerous, and you guys can just have class in the comfort of your home, right? Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about the vocabulary. We had some vocabulary assignment from class we did not have a chance to go over. We're going to talk about some grammar, and we're going to do some more discussion about shopping. So the vocabulary going to be related to shopping and so on. The grammar, I'm going to try to make it fit shopping, and I have a little idea about something. And well, I wanted to do the shopping activity in class where some students are shop owners and another student are shoppers, and we try to go around and we try to find the best deal, but I guess it's not going to work this time. Usually it's really fun, but I was also a little bit worried about making you guys sit close to each other and talk to each other. I don't know if you guys were scared or nervous about that, but okay. So that's today's agenda. Remember the schedule of things that we are going to cover today. So unit 7 is the shopping vocabulary. You can see that lady has so many bags. She's ready to go, ready to shop, ready to go home, maybe, or ready to sit down and have a cup of coffee. Um, so is that one thing that you guys miss about before the coronavirus? You can go out and shop and have coffee, right? So yeah, that's one of the things I really hope that we can get back to normal life, right? We can go out. We can go out again and we can play and we can have a coffee after shopping. Someday it's going to happen again. Keep your head up, fighting. Everything is going to be okay in a few months. Okay, so you've probably already done that for homework, right? So what is this? You can see it has a price, a total price, the cash and the change. Actually, some of this is in French if you can look closely. So what is this called in English? I think in Korean, 영수증, right? 영수증 드릴까요? 드릴까요? They always ask me, do you need a receipt? Yes, so it's called receipt. Receipt. Now this is an English word that comes from French, and we do not say the p, so it's not receipt. No, not receipt, but receipt. Receipt. Okay. To show that you have received something, you show a receipt. And in America, if you go shopping, they're going to ask you the same like Korea. Do you need a receipt? Do you need a receipt? Okay, well, these were kind of popular in Korea a few years ago. They've gotten a little bit less popular, but I really, really like this. It's called a, what is this called? Well, this is a second-hand shop. Second-hand. I think you guys say 중고, second-hand, or sometimes we call used, U-S-E-D, used shop, used clothing shop. I think in Japan they'll call them vintage shop, vintagey. So you can get used things here that are much cheaper than at other places. They are much cheaper than at other places. It's called a second hand. This is the second pair of hands that have used it. Do you ever shop at a second hand shop? I actually like second hand shops a lot. Well, depending what they sell, I like them a lot. But recently, in the past few years, they were popular for a few years in Korea, but not so much anymore. I like to go to them because you can find really cool old clothes, or you can find like cool old music and old toys and stuff. But they're more popular in America than Korea. I think Koreans really like to get new stuff. So I'm always happy in Korea. Sometimes people will throw out like a really nice sofa or something and you can take it because I feel like Koreans really love new, always get new. Throw out the old and get new, even if it's not that old. So for that reason, I think sometimes they're not too popular in Korea, secondhand shops. But it depends. Some people like it, I know. What's this? Hmm. Well, we associate this sometimes when you go out and you see something, you really like it, and you see it and you get excited and you buy it and you feel a kind of when you get home and you realize you spent palmanman on the pair of shoes and you already have 10 other pairs of shoes, how do you feel? How do you feel? You spent palmanman, but you have so much shoes, you have so much stuff. You need to pay your KT handphone bill, but you spent palmanman on shoes. How do you feel? Well, you feel what we call in English, you feel remorse, a kind of buyer's remorse because you impulse buy. Impulse buy. Impulse buy is like just a feeling to buy something. The feeling to buy something. I think it's called 충동구매. 충동구매, right? You just feel like you have to buy it and you have to get it, and then later you feel sorry because actually you didn't really need this thing, right? You didn't need it at all, but here you are with too many clothes and no money. Yeah, you wanted the new one. Okay, impulse buy. What's this one? So this is why a lot of people don't like to shop online, right? Because it's difficult to get 환불하다, right? It's difficult to get your 환불, your refund. So a refund is, yeah, getting your money back. Sometimes I'm worried. I buy something at Gmarket, and I don't know why. Gmarket, they always put something online, but they don't have it. So if they don't have it, why do they put it online? I don't know why. So I'm always afraid they're going to keep my money, and I have to go and keep checking my bank. Did they send me the money back? It's so annoying, I think. It's really annoying to get a refund, but it's necessary, I think. Very, very necessary. So refund can be a noun. Did you give me my refund? Or it can be a verb. Please refund me my money. How about this? could this picture be? You see they got a checklist, many boxes full. We might say then that this is it's an adjective, in stock. In stock. Bande, out of stock. Out of stock. In stock, out of stock. For a while in Korea, masks were out of stock. Now they're always in stock, luckily, because we've made enough, right? And not that many people are buying them now, so they're back in stock. I remember a few years ago, honey butter potato chips were really big. They were never in stock. They were always out of stock. What's this? Well, this is why people hate shopping online, right? Because it's so much easier to go to the shop and try something on because you never know if you're going to get a refund, right? You never can tell. Are you going to get your refund or are you not going to get your refund for something that you ordered? Because you get it in the mail and then it doesn't fit you and you have to send it back and you have to wait for the 택배 아저씨 to come and pick it up. It's a big headache, very annoying, right? It's so annoying. So what do? Instead, you go to Uniqlo or you go to H&M, you go to your favorite department store and you find your clothes and you go to the fitting room. The fitting room, F-I-T-T-I-N-G room. It's where you go to see if the clothes fit. Where you go to see if your clothes fit. Well, as you can see, this guy did not spend a lot of time at the fitting room. How can you tell? Well, he looks like that t-shirt just is not a good size for him, right? It looks like he was ready to take a selfie, but maybe now he looks a little bit disappointed because he has a fat belly hanging out of his new tight shirt, right? So that word is, what is that word? Tight. Tight fitting. Bande, loose. Tight, opposite, loose. His shirt and his pants are way too tight. They fit too tight. He probably did not go to the fitting room. He thought it looked really good, but it didn't look so good now because his clothes are too tight. Tight is an adjective. We can use it in many different ways, but including when we're talking about clothes that are too tight. I told you, after the coronavirus, I stay home every day. A lot of my clothes fit more tightly because I gained weight and I didn't exercise as much. How about you? Maybe not you. You guys all look like you're in good shape. What is this? This is a little bit harder. Exchange. Exchange. So exchange also has a lot of different meanings. So exchange means to trade something for something else. So sometimes in some stores you can't get the refund, right? You can't get the refund. So exchange, you can take your clothes if they don't fit and you can exchange it for something that does fit. Okay, so this is the shopping meaning of exchange, right? To exchange something for something else. You can just get store credit. You can't get money back, so you go in and you exchange. You also exchange your money. Like when you go to another country, you have only Korean won, you need US dollars, you need Thai baht, you need Japanese yen, so you exchange it. You exchange it. Okay. So exchange has a lot of different meanings. What's this one? Two people talking. They look like they're in a work. Yes, it's 협상하다. 협상하다. What is that in English? It is a verb, negotiate. Negotiate. And the noun is negotiation. You remember a few years ago, President Donald Trump was in negotiation with dear leader Kim Jong-un of North Korea about his nuclear weapons. He tried to negotiate, but I think both of them maybe were not being honest about the negotiation, right? They didn't negotiate well. They didn't really plan to negotiate. It was just a kind of game between them, unfortunately. So, to negotiate means to talk about something and come to an agreement. It can be in business or in a game or in the politics. Okay, so it says dust mask filter. So as you know, in many countries and for a while in Korea, there were no masks anywhere. There was no hand sanitizer or soap. People had bought all of it. Sometimes they were selling it really expensive on eBay, I'm sorry, on Gmarket or something, or on Amazon. So you knew that at that time everything had sold out. It sells out very quickly. So that's kind of the opposite of in stock. It means to be sold out. There's no more of this thing. There simply is no more of it. It's all sold out. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to talk about something else now. We're going to talk about money and buying things. So what is this? Yes, this is a United States dollar. This is a United States dollar with the first president of the United States on it, President George Washington. As you guys know, I think many of you have dollars around. It's kind of tied closely with the Korean won. You know, before a dollar used to be, generally a dollar was about 1,000 won, right? But maybe now it's about, what, 1,300 won? Around that, it changes. It used to be 800 won even. That was really good for me. I made a lot of dollars at that time. But the dollar is very powerful nowadays since Barack Obama was president. And it's a bit more expensive. It's a bit more expensive. So we're going to talk a little bit about dollars today and buying things with dollars. So we're going to pretend for this case that the dollar equals about 1,000 won. In my brain, I'm always thinking like 1,000 won is one. I know that's not really true, but that's how my brain always thinks. So we're going to try to think about dollars that way today. Okay, so here's $20, and that is Andrew Jackson, kind of really scary guy, president of the United States in the 19th century. People don't really like him now, but his picture is still on there. So Andrew Jackson, the $20 bill, about 2만 won. I remember one time when I took a taxi from Incheon Airport, I didn't have any Korean money, and I asked the taxi driver if he would accept American 2만 won. At that time, $20 really was American 2만 won. So, yeah, $20. $20. What is this machine? Do you know what this is? It's a kind of new vocabulary word. Actually, nowadays I see them flying over Namsul University all the time. I don't know if they're Korean or if they're American from Ulsan, but I see it always flying over, sometimes really, really low. You can always guess when there's some like games with North Korea happening because I can always see this thing flying overhead at that time. So what is that called? Yes, that is called the helicopter. Helicopter. And some of my guys and even some of the girls joined the military. You can see this. Yes, I had girl students, women students who were in the military in Korea. Women and men can join the military in Korea, and some of them will be based on the helicopter, especially if they join the Air Force. Maybe you've already taken a helicopter ride somewhere, especially if you've traveled abroad. Okay, so what is this? Those little coins, the metal money. In Korea, you have the metal money and the paper money. Most countries nowadays have both because the metal money is not worth that much. The paper money symbolizes the bank of that country. But when we use the paper money, we sometimes get the metal money back. Those coins we get back, right? So what are those coins called? What is it called when we get that back? I think you know it's called change. To make change is to receive the money back, right? To receive the money back. So yeah, uh, when you go to the store and pay for something, right? Uh, 거스르다, right? To make change, to give change. I think that's the right Korean word at least. So for shopping, it's kind of important. They'll say your change is 52 cents, 500 won. Your change is in Korea in the supermarket, they do the same thing, right? Nowadays, a lot of people use cards. It's a bit less common in America, and I traveled in some places in Southeast Asia, 동남아시아, they don't want to use their card, they just want to use money. It's faster for them and they don't have to pay a fee. So in Korea nowadays, people use the card for even a very small thing. Customer. Customer, of course, we all know that. We've all been customers. 고객, right? Many words for customer in English and Korean. Client, customer, basically the same thing. And what is the name of the person on the other side of the counter? What can we call him or her? They are not the customer. They're the person who serves the customer, who helps the customer, who checks things out for the customer. Yes, they are the clerk. Customer versus clerk. So whether it's a man or it's a woman, we can call them a clerk. Sometimes we might say sales clerk, a sales clerk. So customer, clerk, it's whether it's a man or a woman, nowadays we always call it just clerk and customer. Okay, almost the same thing. Who are these people? And what is this? Of course, it's a car. What kind of car is it? Do you know? Maybe you're very familiar with this design, this model of car, I believe. Oh, it's a secret. You can tell me in a message if you know what it is. Of course, that's a simple one. We all know, especially our sportsmen in the class, that is a soccer ball in American English. And in British English, what do they call it in England? Of course, they call it a football. But in American English, yeah, soccer. Soccer, it's not that important. A long time ago in England, they used to use the word soccer for this sport, but in the 1980s, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, they stopped using the word soccer and instead they use football. And you're probably familiar from Latin America, Brazil and Mexico.